The investigation into the deaths of famous actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa Hackman has taken some surprising turns. At first, police in Santa Fe, New Mexico thought Betsy died on a certain day, but new evidence shows she passed away a day later than expected. Meanwhile, questions are swirling about what will happen to Gene's massive $80 million fortune, especially since he left everything to his wife, who is now gone, and didn't include his children in his will. I am Chris Stewart, and we are diving into this puzzling case for Law and Crime. Almost a month ago, on February 26, 2025, Gene Hackman, a beloved Hollywood icon, and Betsy were found dead in their quiet Santa Fe home. A worker who came to the house that day alerted authorities after discovering the couple lifeless inside. Deputies arrived and found Gene, age 95, in a room with his sunglasses and walking cane nearby. Betsy was in a bathroom where it looked like she had collapsed suddenly. A tipped-over space heater and scattered pills were found near her. One of their dogs was also dead, locked in a small space, while two other dogs were alive and later taken to a shelter. From the beginning, the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office said there was no evidence of a crime. Still, how and when the couple died remained unclear. Gene and Betsy lived a private life in their $3.3 million secluded home, which had no cameras watching over it. Eventually, investigators learned from Gene's pacemaker that his heart stopped on February 18th. The medical examiner determined he died from heart disease mixed with Alzheimer's, a condition that had left him in poor health. As for Betsy, tests revealed she had a rare illness called hantavirus, which she likely caught from rodents. This disease starts like the flu but can turn deadly. In New Mexico, only 156 people have had it in the past 50 years, and it kills about 4% of those infected. The sheriff shared details about Betsy's final days on March 7th. On February 9th, she picked up their dog Xena from a vet after a procedure, which might explain why the dog was crated at home. 2 days later, on February 11th, Betsy was busy. She emailed her massage therapist in the morning, shopped at a grocery store in the afternoon, visited a pharmacy, and stopped by a pet store. Cameras caught her car entering their gated neighborhood at 5:15 p.m. that day. After that, her email inbox piled up with unread messages, and there were no more signs of activity until new phone records changed the story. Those records show Betsy was alive on February 12th, a day later than police first thought. She made several calls to a nearby health clinic asking for help with what she described as congestion. A doctor who spoke to the BBC said she didn't mention trouble breathing or chest pain. Betsy had booked a clinic visit for that day but cancelled it earlier, saying she needed to look after Gene. Sadly, she died later that day from the hantavirus. This means Gene lived alone in the house with her body in the bathroom for days before he too passed away. The medical examiner confirmed Gene was in bad shape health-wise. As for the crated dog, it didn't die from sickness but from hunger and thirst after being left without care. Now, attention has turned to Gene's $80 million estate, earned over his 40-year career as a Hollywood legend. In his will, signed back in 2005, he left everything to Betsy. He didn't name his three grown children, Christopher, 65, Elizabeth, 62, and Leslie, 58, from an earlier marriage as heirs. Since Betsy died before Gene, the plan has hit a snag. Gene had picked an attorney to manage the estate if Betsy passed first, but that lawyer died in 2019. The job then went to another attorney, Julia Peters, who is now handling things in court. Betsy's will says that if Gene didn't outlive her by 90 days, the money should go to a charity trust to support causes they both cared about. Peters has filed papers listing Gene's kids as possible heirs to this trust, even though they weren't close to their father in his final years. His daughters Leslie and Elizabeth, along with his granddaughter Annie, told People magazine they were heartbroken by his death, calling him a brilliant actor and a loving dad and grandpa. Leslie admitted to the Daily Mail that she hadn't talked to him in months. Christopher, the son, has stayed quiet but reportedly hired a top estate lawyer in California, according to TMZ. There's more to this story. The state's lawyer asked a court to block the release of police body camera footage, photos from inside the home, and autopsy reports. They argue that Gene and Betsy valued their privacy, especially in recent years when they stayed out of the spotlight. A judge has temporarily agreed, but a hearing on March 31st will decide if this stays private or goes public. This case keeps unfolding with new twists. Who will end up with Gene Hackman's fortune? Will his kids fight for a share, or will it go to charity, or even the estate? We'll keep following this story as it develops. For Law and Crime, I am Chris Stewart. Stay tuned for updates.